I'm literally drooling. If you like Twix, you'll love these. Anyway, stick around. Great episode, great dessert. You can call it whatever you want. I prefer like my $100 shortbread. That's more what kind of makes. There's 3 steps. And again, you saw the cookie, shortbread, caramel, chocolate. So, spoiler alert, this is 3 sticks worth of brown butter. There's an additional stick of butter we'll use for the caramel. And this is definitely not a healthy recipe, but I don't think anyone eats a Twix and thinks it's a banana. So, you know, whatever gets you through today. So, that being said, I will definitely put the recipe in the description. In my bowl, I have sugar, salt, and vanilla extract. I'm not skipping this step here, but I'm gonna cream the butter in with everything in here already. When you see room temperature, that means it should probably sit out 8 hours. Best thing I like to try and do is just let it sit out overnight, and that's pretty much that. A lot of equipment on this paper plate. That's why I like to do this live, so you can see the scrubs, but also hopefully see how we recover. There's an egg yolk involved. Clearly, I did not add it in. I'm glad I kind of looked down because I would have totally forgotten. That would have sucked. And I say that because, again, it's 3 sticks of brown butter, so if I mess up the shortbread, that's not a quick fix. All right, so now at this point, I have the egg yolk in, and it is just the egg yolk. And truth be told, I broke the yolk as I was separating it from the white. So I don't actually know what would happen if a whole egg went in here. I haven't tried it with a full egg, just with the yolk. Shortbread has a certain texture. You know, it's not meant to typically be light. It's more compact. Pretty much done. This is very soft. I do want to get everything in the bowl as much as I can. This also needs 9 by 9, so we have kind of our dough ball in here. And I'm basically just pushing it, trying to get into the 4 corners as best I can. So here we are. The original recipe, if you look at most of the videos for this, is not, it just uses regular butter. I use brown butter for all my cookies, and I just thought, why am I even gonna try it with regular? Definitely never gonna try it with regular butter. It's so freaking good. So here we go. It looks really good. I mean, I love all the specks of brown butter. We have our oven, we're preheated at 350. I want to say that's 175 or 180 Celsius. I'll try to put a little note in the video. We're going to bake this for about 25 or 30 minutes. And the key will be, we want to look for brown edges. Popping it in. We'll come check with you in about 25 or 30 minutes. All right, see you guys. All right, welcome back. It took 27 minutes-ish. It's funny, the recipe says 22 to 30. You can hopefully... I'm going to hopefully not destroy this when I'm holding it up, but you can see we got some nice bubbles. Our edges are pretty brown. Actually, I'm going to put the cake down. Looks like it just separated from the side of the pan with me trying to show you what I did. So, whoops. Lesson learned. Won't do that when we definitely can't do that when we do the caramel part. So the good news is this step is done. Welcome back. We're calling this day 2. So we have our shortbread. Been in the refrigerator. I decided I wanted to keep it cold as possible. So I did let it sit in the fridge overnight. First time I've done caramel in my induction burner. We'll see what happens. I have a stick of butter. It's definitely room temp. And I'm starting with this. Full disclosure, I always forget to start with the butter. And actually, I've tried to video this before a few weeks ago when I made it, for when you saw me eat that 2-week-old one. And I usually just throw everything in the pot and let it come to a boil and go from there. Technically speaking, you're supposed to melt the butter first, so I'm gonna try that right now. The actual cooking of the caramel is gonna be quite boring, so we need to get it to 235 Fahrenheit. I think that's 113 Celsius. It's 113 or 118. To look it up, I just forget. And now that we're going, I can't stop. So normally I'd say I put the heat to about medium. Again, I want the butter to melt. While that's getting going, let me kind of talk through some of the prep here. So our butter it's melting nicely. We have a can of sweetened condensed milk here. All right, our butter is mostly melted. So anyway, we have a whole can of sweetened condensed milk. That whole can's going in. And then in here, I kind of have everything else. Actually, let me get this condensed milk in here because I see we don't want the butter to brown, although I guess in theory it will brown in the end. Nothing too complicated here, but I do recommend a rubber spatula if you use sweetened condensed milk for anything. All right, and then here we have everything else. So keep an eye on the temperature here. But as we start, we definitely have like a layer of fat from the butter on the top. And actually, let me move the camera now because it's going to probably go quick. So you can hopefully see. We have this big, all the yellow. The middle is basically the brown sugar part, and the butter is on the outside. That will go away as it heats up, as we whisk. And again, over time, this will kind of happen naturally. I'm just more whisking to keep the bottom of the pan from getting extra hot. So I might experiment. Right now it's on medium at 275. The edges are just starting to bubble, which is nice. I like this induction cooktop because I can kind of move around with the temperatures very quickly. I'm going to bring the camera back over because it's exactly what I wanted to show you. We're starting to see little bits of caramelized pieces. I've never been able to make this without this happening, and I don't think it's a big deal, but if you look really close at the picture, the caramel looks caramelized in some places. It's the best way to describe it. Caramel's boiling, so I'm gonna quickly kind of pivot. Again, 235. And again, I've never used this pot, so I'm not sure. This could happen real quick. I've seen a lot of variation when I've done this. And you can hopefully see the thermometer. I'm definitely not gonna change the temperature on the pot. But essentially, just check it every couple of minutes. I have to say, I love this induction cooktop. It's awesome. Well, I don't like when I'm hearing the bubbling, so I'm not even gonna talk. I'm gonna keep at it. The caramel, though, if it wasn't obvious, is incredibly hot and it will burn you. So even if you try to wipe it off, 235, done. Not screwing around. This is a one-shot deal. We pour our caramel, if we mess it up, which I'm not even sure what that would mean, that's it. So at least for the video purposes, this is once, this doesn't get to be repeated. So it's pretty basic. I mean, I'm just pouring it on. I don't typically use all of it because it does tend to be a lot, but you can see, I'll do a close-up of course. And again, nothing really super complicated, just pushing it around. So I just, again, kind of just push it all into the corners. Caramel's done. Shortbread is done. I'm gonna go a little salt crazy with this. This is Morton's kosher salt, of course. I'm probably gonna put a little bit on the chocolate on the top as well. This last time I didn't, and I definitely noticed it felt like it was missing something. So not going too crazy. I am gonna try to cool down. That cooled down incredibly fast. All right, so into the fridge. Come back in an hour or two. Great news, we're back. Forgive the shirt. This is going to be a bit of a workout, so I don't want my hoodie on and need all my muscles to be able to move. This has been in the fridge a couple hours. You want the caramel to be very cold. However, if I poke it, you can see a little fingerprint indentation. I'm going to move this out of the way because we won't need it until we're ready to go. The recipe calls for 8 ounces. My personal opinion, 7 is probably a bit better. The whole top and the sides, some of the sides will be covered, but this isn't meant to be covered in all 4 sections. That would definitely, there's already enough, unhealthy stuff in here. That wouldn't necessarily help. And again, the taste is amazing, so I think adding that extra chocolate would actually kind of spoil some of it. Let's get started here. So this part's gonna be very easy. We're taking 7 ounces of chocolate. These are both from Trader Joe's. I think it's like $7. I think it might actually be cheaper than buying chocolate chips, but you could buy chocolate chips and do this. My best advice though would be to buy a milk and a dark. You don't want semi-sweet because you do want some sweetness. But it doesn't say the percentage. The milk's usually could be anywhere from 30, we'll say 30-ish. This is 72. But I've also they have one that's just called semi-sweet, which is probably 60, and that worked great too. Don't do bittersweet, do milk, and then add in some sort of dark chocolate to balance it out. And I say add in, but you want equal parts. What we're gonna do now is basically 2 parts. And kind of funny in my stock video, which is the most recent one I made, I talked a little smack on America's Test Kitchen. Again, one of my favorite cooking shows from PBS. So it was just about gelatin being added to stock. I thought that was unnecessary. It was as trash talky as that can be. Take that for what it's worth. But anyway, I'm going to give them, so kind of to balance that out, I'm giving them the credit. In their Millionaire Shortbread bar, I didn't follow what came before this, but I did this. They were one of the few videos I saw that tempered the chocolate because you want it to have that snap. You don't want it to be super melt. Credit to America's Test Kitchen. This is like the easiest way to temper chocolate. I've never done it before and it's worked great every time I've tried it. We need approximately 3.5 ounces of both the dark and the milk. I try to maintain a couple of larger pieces when I break them, and that'll be relevant in just a moment. 7.2, perfect. It's okay to have a little extra. You definitely don't want to have too little. So I'd say if you make this the first time, probably make 8. I found making this a few times, too much chocolate, it makes it too thick on the top, and I ruined a lot of them when I went to cut them. And I noticed the last couple of times when I used less or made it really thin, the cuts were amazing. Let me rephrase. They were not equal, but I was able, the first time I got 32 pieces and the last time I actually got 40. I didn't mess any of them up. So I would probably suggest you stay closer to 7 ounces. But again, do 8, and then when it's on there and get your layer, it looks good, just stop. If in the 8-ounce recipe, 6 ounces stay in the bowl, which we're gonna microwave in 20-second increments till it's melted. And then the other 2 ounces stay out, we're gonna plane it, and then we put the plain chocolate into the melted, and that tempers it. So simple as that. We're gonna microwave this. So again, 20 seconds in, not much has happened. If we move it around, some recipes will tell you that. I mean, actually, I realized I just made a stupid mistake. So let me fix that. Which is these need to be a much smaller piece. While that's happening, and again, it's probably gonna take a few rounds. I'd say a few, but a minute is probably enough. Don't overheat it. If you do that, the chocolate will, I forget the terminology, but it becomes kind of like this big gross ball, and it will definitely be unusable. It's definitely getting a little more melty. Really makes a difference, and in fact, most of it will melt when it may seem like it won't. We'll see what it looks like in 20 seconds, but my whole point was the entire thing does not need to be melted. You stir it enough as it gets hot, and it will melt. The other thing is, if we don't have if it's not 100% melted at the end, we can throw it back in the microwave even after we add our grated chocolate, and it will still come out perfect. And I say that because, yes, that has happened. And I do have a feeling my bit of oversight, no. Sometimes it does feel really good to say stuff and then be proven right. It doesn't always happen. This is an earth science. This is an earth shattering or rocket science or whatever I'm meaning to say. So when I get down to this, I'm not messing around with that. I'm just gonna throw it in. We're done. Make sure, again, if you're using, this is a great tool to have, this microplaner. So if you want to like zest fruit for anything, for desserts, for drinks, it's a fantastic tool. Somehow that almost all stayed on the parchment. That was, yikes. Again, not impossible to fix if we somehow ruined it, but I'm definitely not one that likes to waste. And again, so close to the end, it would be, it's like taking a road trip and getting a flat tire and an accident 5 minutes from home, which that has happened to me. Yes, ooh, see that? Let's do that again. I don't know if the camera captured it, but that is beautiful. So we're perfectly tempered and somehow perfectly melted. I'm getting almost a bit surprised. I'm gonna pull us in for a bit of a closer view. Just like the caramel, pour on top, and I'm not pouring all. It also kind of helps if you think of a Twix, it has that bit of a design, so I'll just kind of do a little wavy here, and then I'll go perpendicular as well. It won't really make much of a difference. We're done. Unfortunately, we can't eat this for a little while. It does have to go into the fridge, just kind of like with the caramel layer. but it looks great. I'm gonna put a little kosher salt on the top, not much, but again, last time I just felt like it was missing that tiny bit of saltiness. You don't want to put this back in the pan because it will ruin the chocolate all around the side. So hopefully you have enough space. I might suggest putting it on a dish towel or paper towel or two, just because the bottom is likely going to be a bit greasy. But just wanted to add that as an important fact. Since we got this far, we don't want to mess it up at the very end. So, all right. You want to use a serrated knife, and we're just gonna probably go and like make a bunch of halves. I don't know if that's the thumbnail, but we're gonna make a couple of long cuts. And again, I'm not measuring. So you can kind of see some cracks here, but the chocolate, I mean, that is pretty perfect if I do say so. Yeah, my goal here isn't to make perfectly even pieces. I've tried to do that and that's just not me. Even when I successfully built like some shelves and pretty sturdy heavy duty shelves in the garage, there's still like these little parts that didn't perfectly line up, and I can only say that's just me. It never works out, you know. Artistically speaking is not where I'm strong. We worked hard. Let's claim one. Like I say, that kind of sounds like a weird phrasing for this. Like, honestly, before I even chew it, it's like, holy shit, it's so good. In fairness, this definitely tastes better than the 2-week-old one. Not much, but it's just a little fresher. Sorry, I'm chewing. Oh my god. Woo! I'm not gonna actually dance, but that's my dance version. Oh, it's very good. Wow. Like, it's so good I want to make another one for me. Wow. I can't say I'm not making a reaction up. It's so freaking good. Woo! Alright, let me stop embarrassing myself. Holy shit. Sorry, I keep saying that. Apologies for the language. I'll try to tone it down, not cursing these videos, but like, wow. That was effing amazing. I honestly, this was so... I'm gonna have to put this away immediately because I want to eat more. And I'm literally drooling. I was on camera, actually drooling. Okay. I think that's a good note to end on. We're done. Thank you for watching again. Hope you enjoyed. Honestly, I truly hope you make this. You will be like the envy of anyone you know. Every single grown-up has told me how much they love this. And I say grown-up because a couple of kids, and one's mine, one was my son's friend, didn't like it, and the hell with them. They don't know what they're talking about. So, excluding those two, everyone has loved this. And if you love Twix, yeah, I mean, this is gonna blow your freaking mind. So, that's it. Again, thank you for watching. Really appreciate any support. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. And we'll see you at the next video. Thanks, everyone. Take care.